What's up, everybody? Welcome to Empire on Deck, and let's jump right into Saturday's action because there were some good ones. Starting with what was actually a really good game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Detroit Tigers. And if you've been following Empire on Deck so far this season, you know that this game also includes two great rookies that I've kept my eye on, Kevin McGonigal and J.J. Weatherholt. And in this one, it was Detroit that jumped out early, but St. Louis kept coming back. Detroit hit 4 home runs in this one. It was Carpenter, McKinstry, Torres, and Vierling. And it was 3 of the 4, Vierling, Carpenter, and McKinstry, that each drove in 3 runs apiece. So this was definitely a high-scoring game. And it was St. Louis's Jordan Walker, who finally appears to be finding his groove after kind of a rough start to his career, who went 3 for 4 with a home run and 5 RBIs, as well as a stolen base to keep St. Louis in this one. The final score was 11-6, but it was a much more entertaining game than that. And I will say, when I think about this game and I look at the fact that Carpenter hit a home run, that home run was in the first or second inning, and I still can't think of how that ball went out. He was standing in the left-handed batter's box, and he hit it, and it went off the end of the bat and went out to left field. I still don't know how this ball carried out to left field. This thing should have probably been a bloop single, and yet somehow carried out into the stands. The Jordan Walker home run, however, was absolutely smashed. Detroit wins this one 11-6. Both teams are 4-4 through 8 games, and it is the Sunday night game on Peacock for this week, and I'm very excited about that. Moving on to Toronto and Chicago, it was Murakami who had a home run and 3 RBIs, and he made a little bit of history in this one as he became the fastest Japanese-born player to hit 4 Major League home runs. And for good measure, Vlad Jr. also added his first home run of the season in the 6th inning. But it was the White Sox who won 6-3 in this one. And the Toronto Blue Jays seem to be having a tough time finding their footing, finding their form from a year ago so far this year, but you can't blame them when you see how many pitching injuries they have. But anyway, the Blue Jays are 4-4. The White Sox win this one 6-3. Now, going on to the first game of a doubleheader between the Royals and the Brewers, thanks to yesterday's postponement. Yesterday was the Garrett Mitchell show in Game 1, as he went 2 for 4 with a home run and a double and drove in all 5 Milwaukee runs. Milwaukee won Game 1 of the doubleheader, 5-2. Moving on to the game between the Dodgers and the Nationals, Andy Pages continues his run as the hottest hitter in baseball right now. While the top of the order for the Dodgers has struggled early in the season, it is Pages that has been the steady hand after, ironically, he had a really rough postseason while everybody else was driving them to a championship. Now it's everybody else that's having a slow start, and Pages that is catching the world on fire. He has gone 15 of 30 to start the season. That's an even 500 through 8 games. And in this game, he went 3 for 5 with a homer and 3 RBIs. But Tyler Glasnow helped lock it down by going 6 innings pitched and striking out 9. What we cannot skip over, even though they lost the game, was that C.J. Abrams homered in his 3rd straight game, hitting a 3-run homer in the 8th inning. But it was the Dodgers that won this one 10-5. Moving to the game between the Baltimore Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates, Shane Baz was solid for the Orioles, going 5 2/3 with 3 hits and 9 Ks. Brian Reynolds went 2 for 4 with a double for Pittsburgh. Baltimore led 2-1 through 7 innings, but it was Pittsburgh that added 1 in the 8th and walked it off with 1 in the 9th, thanks to a Nick York pinch hit double after he came in the game for the struggling Marcell Ozuna. Pittsburgh won this one 3-2 for their 4th straight win, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have started the season 5-3. The Houston Astros blanked the Athletics in a big way, scoring 11 runs on 18 hits. Christian Walker, Joey Loperfido, Yainer Diaz, and Christian Vasquez each drove in 2 runs. And Imai looked incredible, going 5 2/3, allowing just 3 hits and striking out 9. The Athletics managed just 5 hits as a team in this one, and Houston won big, 11-0. Randy Vasquez showed up big for the San Diego Padres against the Boston Red Sox, going 6 innings, allowing just 1 earned run. Miguel Andujar went 3 for 5 with a double, and it was Ramon Laureano that had the game-winning double in the top of the ninth. Boston, a team who has postseason aspirations, now falls to 2-6 after losing to the Padres 3-2. Cincinnati gets a shutout victory of the Texas Rangers on the back of Brett Lauder's 6 shutout innings. The Reds score both of their runs in the first thanks to RBIs by Ellie De La Cruz and Sal Stewart, and the Texas Rangers managed just 4 hits as the Reds shut them out 2-0. And the Texas Rangers are definitely an interesting case. I definitely had my eye on Skip Schumacher to win AL Manager of the Year, a possibility there, considering he'd done it for the Miami Marlins a couple of years earlier. But this Rangers team is confusing to start the season. They lost their first game of the season, and then they won 4 in a row to start 4-1, and now they've lost 3 in a row since then. So they're a very streaky team. They're 4-4. We have to keep an eye on them to see what direction they actually go in. The Yankees continue their run with the best record in baseball at 7-1 after they beat the Marlins 9-7. The Yankees never let up offensively, scoring 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and 3 in the 8th. Offensively, they were led by Giancarlo Stanton, who had a home run and 2 RBIs. And Cody Bellinger also chipped in with a home run and 3 RBIs. But even in the loss, I want to talk about Xavier Edwards for the Marlins, who in this one went 3 for 4 with a double. And obviously the Marlins are something of a story to start the season, because even with the loss, they're 5-3. I don't think anyone expected that. And Liam Hicks and Owen Casey are playing well. But it's Xavier Edwards who, through 8 games, is batting .467. And I think because Liam Hicks and Owen Casey are getting more of the highlights and more of the headlines for this Marlins team, we're not talking about Xavier Edwards enough, because even though Casey's name and Hicks' name comes up in the box scores, in the highlights, we often gloss over Edwards. So I want to highlight him going 3 for 4, raising his average to .467 through 8 games. But it was the Yankees that won this one, 9-7, improved their league best record to 7-1. Returning to the doubleheader between the Brewers and the Royals, Seth Lugo was excellent in Game 2 for the Royals. He was excellent again, going 5 innings, giving up just 4 hits, striking out 7. And it's Seth Lugo that has an ERA of 1.59 in 2 starts for the Royals this season. He was really solid against the Braves in his first start, and now he was solid against the Brewers in his second. And it was the Royals that evened the double dip in Game 2, 8-2. It was veteran catcher Salvador Perez that fueled the victory for Kansas City in Game 2, as his homer sparked a 6-run inning that was the difference in the game. In the game between the Tampa Bay Rays and Minnesota Twins, Steven Matz went 6 innings, allowing just 2 hits and 1 earned run, striking out 8. And the offense was led by Yandy Diaz and Cedric Mullins. Yandy Diaz chipped in a triple and drove in 2 RBIs. And Cedric Mullins was excellent on the base paths, going 2 for 5 with 2 stolen bases and 2 runs scored. Tampa Bay beats Minnesota 7-1. In the game between the Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks, this was a pitcher's duel between 2 former Atlanta Braves prospects, as Michael Soroka took the mound for Arizona against Bryce Elder. And this is a story of 2 guys who have struggled in recent years to find consistency, to find their place, and yet both guys are pitching really, really well to start 2026. Bryce Elder went 7 innings, allowing just 4 hits, striking out 8, and he has a 0 ERA through 2 starts with Atlanta this season. And he made it look easy the later he got into the game. And Bryce Elder is known as a guy who pitches with a lot of traffic, but he made it look easy in the later innings in this one. And Michael Soroka went 5 innings, allowing 4 hits, just 1 earned run, and his ERA on the season through 2 starts is 0.90. The difference in this game was literally a throwing error on Bryce Elder on a bunt single that scored 2. The Diamondbacks won this one 2-1. For the Philadelphia Phillies, it was Jesus Luzardo that rebounded beautifully after a rough first start to the season, and he went 6 2/3 innings, striking out 11 Colorado Rockies hitters. And the Philadelphia Phillies offense won this on the back of a pair of RBI doubles, one by Kyle Schwarber in the first inning and one by Trey Turner in the 5th inning, and that was all they needed as Philadelphia beat the Colorado Rockies 2-1. I guess you could call this low-scoring Saturday because there were a lot of low-scoring games. The Mets shut out the San Francisco Giants, and this one was not low-scoring as the Mets scored 9 runs. And they did it in bunches because they scored 3 in the 2nd and 5 in the 5th. And their offense was led by Tyrone Taylor, who went 2 for 3 with a home run and drove in 4. And that was all Clay Holmes needed on the mound, going 7 shutout innings, allowing just 3 hits. And the game between the Cubs and the Guardians was postponed due to weather. So the last game of the day, and this one was a wild one. The story of this one is not what you expect, especially if you came here to hear me break it down for you. It's not what we usually hear about. It wasn't a pitching performance. It wasn't an incredible offensive game. The Los Angeles Angels won this game 1-0. And the Angels scored the only run of the game for either team in the first inning on a Zach Neto home run. And the rest of the way, this was a Jo Adell game. Not offensively, but Jo Adell, through the course of this game, robbed not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs in the same game. He robbed Cal Raleigh of his first home run of the season in the first inning. He robbed another one in the 8th inning. And to lead off the 9th inning, he went over the fence and into the stands to bring one back from J.P. Crawford. And the Angels needed all 3 of those. As I said, they won 1-0. So Jo Adell literally saved this game time and time again. He did go 1 for 3 at the plate in the game, but that was not the story. Jo Adell with 3 home run robberies in the same game. Angels won this one 1-0. That is all the news, notes, and highlights that I have for you on Saturday's action. And until we go over what happened on Sunday, I am Roman Gennaro. This is Empire on Deck. See you on the next one.